Hello, this is Robert Smith. I'm in Cove County Court, Ireland, and this actually is the port where thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people were leaving Ireland to the New World. And actually this is the same spot where the Titanic left as well. And talking about starting a new world, you know, the interesting thing about life is that we start at birth, and it is a new world for everybody. And you know, depending on where you're born at and who your family members are and what you've experienced, from that moment we began to create our own idea of what the world is. And from those ideas we began to perceive the world from those perceptions. And so what we want to do in our life is to change our perceptions, how we see the world. And you know, it's interesting, I work with thousands of people, and as you interact with them, you start to discover how they see the world. And oftentimes it's not the same world that I see it, or you have two people who enter in a relationship, a marriage, and yet we have the same words but we perceive things totally different. So what we'd like to do is learn how to, let's see, I don't know what I want to say. Okay. So what we want to do in our life, what we want to do is drop our old ways of seeing things. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was sharing with me about how he's been married for 20 years, and he started to notice that the words that came out of his wife's mouth were exactly the same words that he would hear from his own mother's mouth, or her mother's mouth, or their family's mouth. And what's interesting is that we began to see the world from our own view, and our own view is developed from where we came from. So what we want to do is start changing the bad stuff and creating a new view for the world. And the question is, how do you do it? You know, I have a lot of people say, well, you know, Robert, I understand it, I see it, but how do I change it? The real key of creating changes is, first of all, take full ownership of what you do within you. You know, if you have an issue with somebody, the issue is yours, and the somebody comes into your life to help you heal it. Now, if you run from it, you get to keep it, and you can add more to it. So what we want to do is let every opportunity be a healing opportunity, and when you interact within the world, when you change you, the world starts to change. Our perceptions change. And you've seen it before, we've all done it before. You keep moving from one job to the next, and the same type of person is always there waiting for you to get there. So if we change us, what we do within ourselves, our worlds change. It kind of reminds me of when I was like 15 years old, I left home. Of course, my father had a major emotional impact in my life, as well as a spiritual impact. And my father would have a certain look on his face, and this look would send chills right down through me, you know. And one day I was at the gym, and Marilyn had, I'm talking to her, and somebody dropped these weights, and you could see that look, my father's look on her face, and it just went right through me, and I wanted to get out of there. And later on, because I didn't know how to deal with it, I just going to escape. And so later on, after I discovered how to tap and how to release this stuff, I met my wife at the time was at Quiznos, which is a sandwich restaurant in America. And I said, hey Anna, I think we have some coupons out in the car. You mind go get it? So she went out to the car, and it was a 1974 Charger. I'd repainted it bright panther pink with a black vinyl roof and a bulged black hood. But the doors were like 50,000 pounds for a small 5-foot girl. She broke her fingernail as she opened the door, and when she walked in the restaurant, I saw that look, that the same look was on my father's face, and the chills went right through me. And at that counter, I just let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, and let it go. The interesting thing about it is I never seen that look again. My world changed, and it's changed because I'm changing how I represent the world and how I feel about the world. So what we want to do in your life and in my life is to be conscious of what stirs us and start addressing this. And as we do this, the world changes. Not only the world changes, but all of our relationships. So the new world starts with you. Push out and go into a new direction by merely addressing how you respond to the world, and how you respond to the world, changing that, you'll see the world with new eyes, new behaviors, and new attitudes. Of course, I'm here in Ireland, and it is a different world. people speak differently. They have different metaphors. I say, what did you say? So they use little quotes that I don't understand, and I say, what are you talking about? And then they have to explain to me. So even though this is the same world, we speak basically English, and but it's different. So it's, again, it goes back to how we perceive things, how we hear things, how we represent things. And it kind of reminds me, I was on the train, and I got up and I went to the restroom. I came back and the lady was sitting in my seat. She said, "Did I pinch your seat?" And I said, "No, I don't think so." And she really was talking. I didn't know what she was talking about. And I said, what she was meaning, I had to think of it. I said, "What did you mean?" She was meaning, did I take your seat? So I had a different perception. I was thinking about that, you know. So again, the same world, different words, same representations, the same world, different language, different understandings, the same concept behind it all. So what we want to do is take ownership of what we do and how we feel it. And when we interact with people, and I'll, you know, because I'm working with hundreds of people, when they say something, I say, well, what do you mean? How do you know? And that's what you need to do within your relationships, because a lot of times your relationship problems starts with not understanding the meaning in which they're saying. So you ask questions. Well, what do you mean about this or that? And then when you get on the same page, there's less conflict too. So anyway, start a new world by changing how you represent things. You can hear the bells in the background. And there's a big Catholic church behind me. It's very humongous, so up on the hill. So anyway, this is Robert Smith. I'm in Ireland, and push into the new world by changing how you represent things. You know, some people have asked and said, Robert, you know, they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and I said, Robert, I wish I knew you 20 years ago. You could have saved me a lot of problems. I said, well, if I knew you 20 years ago, I'd have been just as screwed up as you were. But the nice thing is, today, you have a new opportunity to create a new world for the rest of your life. You'll live longer, you'll be healthier, you'll be happier. And what I'll do is I'll let you look around, kind of see a little bit of the city. I'm going to move out of the way. And what we'll do is we'll just go real slow like this. This is a new life and a new day. Push into the new world. Take full control of what's going on in your life.